This thing is clean in here. Got a bunch of parts. Let's see what we got. Oh, S1 build. You guys know the routine. All right, so car just got here. Here's all the all-wheel drive stuff we're gonna be doing. S1 build on board here. That's customer stuff. And then oil pan. This is the car we're gonna be doing. So the car is currently front-wheel drive. We're gonna bust this video down into, let's say, 4 videos. Okay, so is how to go 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive in your own driveway in steps to where the car is back running every single time you finish. So when that being said, what we're going to do is, first things first is we're going to swap the transmission. So we're going to swap the transmission from the front wheel drive one to the all wheel drive one. And on B series, it's a little bit tricky because you now go from shift linkage to shift cables. So we're going to try to keep the interior on this thing because it is pretty clean in here. And then mount the shifter from the bottom. And then that should give us plenty of clearance. That's how my Civic's done. That's how this one's done. All these have like full interior inside pieces. So this is my son's Integra all-wheel drive K with the shifter in there using the Accord shifter Hush Performance plate. Mine is mounted from underneath, which you can see as well. We have full interior there, nice and tucked. So we're going to try to do the same on this guy's car. So we're going to swap the transmission provided by me, all the parts, Gear X 1 through 4. Does have a 5th gear still. Synchrotech built the transmission. Has Synchrotech synchros. It's the Gear X synchro set. So should be a fancy, dancy little car. And then we're going to add the twin disc. From there, we're going to mount the shifter, and then we'll get the car back up and running. And then from there, we'll be chopping up the trunk. So part 2 video will be chopping up the trunk on showing you guys how we're going to build a fuel cell little cage here for the Radium fuel cell, which I'll show you guys soon. We are using all wagon parts, etc. So second video will be complete fuel system. Third video will be the all-wheel drive trailing arms, mounting the diff up, and the fourth video will be final drive and mounting up the drive shaft and getting her on the road. So this guy brought this car from pretty far away. Can't stress that enough. You know, support is real. Not only in my own hometown, you know, am I doing a lot of these cars. Guys are coming from out of town, out of state. So I really appreciate you guys' support. So this is the setup, fully built B18C1, tile goodies. I think this is like a Go Auto Works kit. I don't know what that turbo is, but yeah, Go Auto Works kit. So it's got a Synchrotech trans in it right now. We're about to be pulling that bad boy out, and then see about getting this thing swapped over and call it a Dizzy. All right, so customer said money's in the oil pan. So before we get started, let's make sure the money's in the oil pan, because without the money, unfortunately, can't get nothing done, honey. Let's pull this bad boy out. Okay. Open this bad boy up. Oh, yeah, the money's in there for sure. Alrighty, got it. Okay. So money's good. We're good there. All right, so I think the most complicated setup to do is the fuel. So me being me, I think I want to start on the fuel first to get the hard shit out of the way. I just don't want to be, you know, dealing with this type of stuff. So we're gonna get the fuel out of the way first. So let's jump into it. So right now, I'm just gonna measure off where I'm gonna rough cut. I am plating this piece back, so I'm actually plating this whole piece back here. Depending on how a guy can get it to fit in, we'll see. But it might have to be a two-piece setup, but we'll see. And then get this bad boy in. So right now I got it marked off. I'm gonna pull it out and then get to chopping. Okay. So we got it all marked. We are gonna box the back end up, and then this end we might cut all the way, just so the radium tank's nice and visible. We'll see how it looks first. And then when I repan this, gotta get some cardboard so I can do a couple templates and then go from there. But right now, use my Makita saw, get my gloves on and my safety goggles, and go to town. You know what? Not everybody has this saw. This is a metal cutting saw by Makita, sorry. Brushless. Man, this thing will chop through some metal like no tomorrow. Has carbide like blades on there. So since not everybody has one of these, I'm gonna go ahead and just use a standard sawzall. Alright, with the keys. Let's find out where I put them. Got a sheet of metal, 20 gauge. Steel here. I'm going to make a template out of a couple pieces of cardboard first. Same thing like I did on my firewall. And then I got some square tubing times 3 of these bad boys, which is just 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. So I've got a couple of these, so we'll build the cage for the fuel cell. I guess we'll start on that first, so let's do that. Get her in here, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so right now I'm just going to measure how far from this this actually is. So, about make sure we're steady on both sides too, because make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. Come on, brand new marker here. Okay. So we're about 5.5 from there. 5.5. Yeah, about 5.5. So I need to remember that because I'm gonna do the plate first to get that done, and then we're gonna re-dynamat everything after. But get the plate done first, and then remember that so I can start my cut from the back from here to the front to get this perfect square, and I'll just set the sail on top of it and then just trace it, and we'll jigsaw that bad boy up. So okay, so I got this. This is 25, so we'll go 25 and a quarter just to give us a little play plus shrink room. 25 and a quarter, and then this is 13 and a half, so we'll go 13 and 3/4. So 20 and a half notes here. 20, shit, what was it? Measure twice, cut once. 25 and a quarter, and then this one was 13 and a half, so 13 3/4. We'll go ahead and slice our first 45 so we have a starting point to measure from, and then I know there's a way to like just bend them and box them, but I ain't that good, so we're just gonna cut them and fucking weld them. So let's get this piece up and then get it cut, and we'll be right back. You can cut this with a skill saw. You don't necessarily have to have this bad boy, but I do, so I'm using it on this stuff. Both of those bad boys. Now let's do the sides. So same thing for this one. Go ahead and put it on up. This one here, 13 3/4. Okay. Take my angle finder. This is why I really got to get my car done so I can get this thing up out of here, man. That's that. We need to go this way. Okay. So, shit. Got all these pieces cut, 45-degree angles. It's gonna build something like that. And then we'll build 2 straps to go across, 2 rib certs, good to go. Beginning stage of it, at least both sides. I didn't do the insides in case it interferes with the corner of the fuel cell. So I did do that. I'm going to grind it down, make it look pretty, and then we'll plan our strapping, how it's going to strap down, and then we'll plan the undercarriage. Once it's in the car, I can just go right to it, you know what I mean? Okay, got our template started. Got the box here. This is gonna sit on top of everything, and then I'm gonna build to this cage. So I gotta cut a little bit more for that so it can sit flush, and then yeah, go from there. Let me just triple check my template one more time. I think to do this twice. Square. this bad boy. Hopefully this fits. It almost fit. Okay, got that in. Got to trim it up a little bit more, and then we're Gucci. Okay, so got that all perfectly square. Got everything. It was a little bit short. I guess I needed like a 5-foot piece to do that, but we're gonna dyno mat this all back again anyways, so he'll look clean. Now let's get the fuel cell in and go from there. Okay, so got all this wrapped up, at least the mock-up part. That's all done. So what we're gonna do now is mark all these so we could drill them all. So it sits flush, rip cert, this, and then tack weld this to this. And then from underneath, we'll go build some bracing underneath. Really not gonna do that right now until the all-wheel drive shit's done. That way I could just figure out where I'm going with things. But for the most part, we're rocking and rolling here. So this has a fuel pump inside of the fuel pump, so I'm just gonna extend the wires. I'm probably gonna do something clean right here for all this, and then see about putting this all back together. Wire everything up, so lift pump and first pump will kick on together with one relay. Second one will be wired straight from the Honda to kick second pump on. This third one, there is a fuel pump there, but it's just a spare in case one of these ever go out. We could just swap it over real quick and we don't have to take this all apart, get back and then, you know, get everything back and going. So yeah, we're gonna continue on right now, see how I like this before I start tidying things up. I want to run a couple things, the hoses. I'm gonna do some bulkhead fittings here to get everything nice and clean. Yeah, and just do our best at wrapping this fuel up. Okay, right now we're about to rivet this down and then dyno mat everything. We'll paint it first and then dyno mat it so the rust doesn't happen. Wire wheel all this soot there, and then yeah, we should be good to go. We can start working from underneath. We're just gonna basically, so got everything painted, waiting for it to dry, then dyno mat everything, and then we'll start drilling for the vent port, feed, return, and then wiring in the pumps. And then that should wrap us up here back here in the fuel. See if we can get her back started and then call it a day. Okay, so we have vent kit for the Radium fuel cell. We have 2 bulkheads for feed and return. 2 into the P90s into the feed, return from the inside. Then we got 2 45s from the outside, from the bottom. And then 2 straights into the 2 ferrule fittings. That's gonna go there to the hard lines. And then we have 2 extra just in case. PTFE, of course, and tools. So go ahead and rock this, get this rocking, and then we'll continue. All right, so back at it. We got return, feed, and vent, all with bulkhead fittings. Vent's going here, so just gonna try to get this tightened up and continue on. Last things left is to wire it up and then try to start it. So got to get this fuel stuff done here first, things first, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so we got return coming in, vent coming out, and not doing anything with feed yet. I'm waiting for fittings for that. So guess we'll start wiring her up. Okay, so he already has it wired the right way, thank God. So relays are already done. So I just got to extend this wires over to the front, to the back, I mean, and then drop this gas tank, tie in the ferrule fittings, and then we're good to go. So let me get this off, get to work, and we'll get back to you guys. All right, just got the wire extended all the way over here, through here. Wiring these two up. This is for the fuel sending unit. I just capped it with that for right now. Lift pump and surge are together, 40 amp breaker, 40 amp relay, so they're about 15 amps each, so should be able to do both of those. And then dash or 10 gauge wire all the way to the front. So yeah, we should be ready to wrap up here. Just land the feed, and then I'm gonna drop the tank right now and then do the underneath, and then we should be able to start her back up. So we'll go ahead and do that and get back. Okay, got the gas tank ready to come down. Yep. Disconnect the lines real quick, and then we should be Gucci. Okay, got this bad boy down. Didn't show much of that. You guys can YouTube how to pull a gas tank down. My job's to do the radium tank, not show you how to drop the gas tank. But got that down, and then I'll show you guys what we're using to connect the lines. Okay, so we're under here right now. This is the feed, which is 5/16. You just take your tube cutter and get this around there tight, start cutting it, and of course you got to go in circles to do so. I mean, come on, this shit one-handed ain't it? Okay, so I've got it there. We'll do it about right there. Okay, and then we have this ferrule fitting, tube fitting, which has a compression ferrule inside of there, and this will slide right on here. There's no need to do this line all the way back. Number one, it's hard line, so when I hear guys do E85 and then they replace this line with the -6, that did absolutely nothing. So it's a lot safer underneath the car with the hard lines. This will get you 700-800 horsepower, so I've never had to go bigger than that. So right now we're just gonna tube cut this up and then get this ferrule fitting on there. I'll probably set the tripod up under here if I'm allowed to, just because I can't do this with one hand. I'm trying, but it's just not happening. So, oh, there it goes. Okay, so I'll just go in a circle, tighten every time. You go in a circle, this should come off right about now. This one. Okay. Got a little gas on me. No biggie. So again, this is how we are so good with our fingers. So get this bad boy. Oh, this goes on first. Okay. This goes on secondary if it fits good. Yep, thank God. This goes, for some reason, the 1/4 inch ones, and then if you cut this in the engine bay, it's got this coating on it. So it's good to cut it back here because it's a true 5/16. Up there, it's a little bit bigger, so you have to do like some grinding on it, like in a circle motion, to get it back down to this bare material. So let me get this on here, get it tightened up, and then go from there. Okay, so got all the lines ran. I'm gonna throw 2 more straps after I weld the bar for the front diff. Everything's there. So everything's nice and tight. So fuel is 100% done. So we're gonna go ahead and try to fire her up right now. And if everything goes good, then we'll proceed. If not, then we'll be back up under here and figure out what the hell's going on. But we should be good. My shit always works sometimes, so. That should wrap this video up after startup. I'll end the outro with the startup. And then, yeah, we should be ready to rock. Okay, so let's make sure everything's Gucci. And we should be fired up. There we go, guys. Stay tuned for part 2. We out.